Hey, what's going on, guys? Tafiq the Realtor here. Welcome to the very first episode of Real Estate Talk with Tafiq. I'm very excited for this episode. I have a special guest with me. I have one of my preferred lenders, one of my very good lender, actually, Delani Estrill with NFM Lending. I'm just gonna hand it over to him, allow him to introduce himself. Delani, welcome.
Hey, thanks, boss. Thanks for having me again, Delani Estrill. At Lonnie the Lender on social media, Instagram. So it's LANI, the THE Lender. So definitely follow me. Specialize in first-time home buyers, FHA, conventional down payment assistance, repeat buyers, VA financing, you name it, we got it for the most part. But I'm definitely thankful to be out here.
Nah, you're welcome,
We've been
man.
talking about this for a while,
For a
bro.
very
So
long
I'm glad that we
time.
finally got able to connect. So I'm very thankful for you having me.
No, you're welcome, man. Thank you for stopping by. And then, like I said, I'm very excited for this episode because today we're talking to our first-time home buyers. We're going to be dropping a lot of nuggets. We're going to be going about the ins and outs about the home buying process. Yeah. You're going to hear from a real estate agent perspective, a lender perspective. These are your two main players here throughout the home buying process. And we're going to talk about, exactly what you expect when you're working for a realtor, when you're working for a lender, documentation that you need, and so forth. So, let's just get started, man. So, Delani, I have to ask you this question, man.
Cool.
If you see a first-time home buyer, who do you think they should contact first, a real estate agent or a lender? Because this is something that people talk about in the real estate industry. Yeah. They don't know whether if someone starting the process of buying a home, whether they should be reaching out to a real estate agent or lender first. What's your perspective?
So from
what
my perspective, honestly,
yeah,
I'm a firm believer of time being money.
Right.
So from a first-time home buyer perspective, I honestly feel like you should speak with a lender before reaching out to a realtor so you can have some type of idea as to what you're eligible to purchase.
Right.
But however, you're a first-time home buyer. You may not have any lender relationships.
Right.
So in that regard, there's always a benefit to actually speaking to a realtor.
Right.
To pretty much get the process started.
Right.
But if you do have a lender relationship, definitely just reach out because it gives you leverage in terms of, okay, well, you already know what you're eligible for.
Right.
Then from there, you can go speak with the realtor and say, okay, well, I know what I want my monthly payment to be.
Right.
Based off of where I want my monthly payment to be, these are the homes that I should be searching in terms of a price range. Granted, a realtor can send you 1,000 listings and you can say, all right, well, I'm ready to get a home for $500,000. But once you see that monthly payment, might be a little bit different.
The buyer consultation, what it includes is just a conversation, a realistic conversation, knowing exactly, what your goals are within your home buying process, exactly how much you're looking to purchase for. I know you'll be able to confirm that amount once they go through the pre-approval process, but just giving them a realistic expectation so they don't get disappointed. Because a lot of people think, when they apply for a mortgage, they're going to get denied. Yeah. There's no such thing as getting denied. You know what I mean? Goodness. Like a lot of people hate rejection. They think they're going to apply for a loan, then the bank's going to reject them. No, that is not true, right? Basically, you advise them you might not be ready now.
Yeah, and we also offer soft credit pulls in the event that you have no idea what your current credit scores are. We have the ability to access one of the 3 scores that we'll be using for decision making. So instead of you just getting your credit pulled, every time you have a credit pulled, there's a possibility you can have a negative impact on your scores.
Right.
So before we even think about pulling your credit, we're accessing that soft credit report, which allows us to give us some type of coaching or consulting. So by the time you are ready to actually have your credit pulled, we can know, okay, this is where you stand.
Okay.
9 times out of 10, if I see like an $800 soft credit, I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Send me them documents. Send me them docs.
Right. I'm glad we're talking about credit though, because that's one of the biggest questions out there is what credit score do you need to purchase a home? Yeah. So can you elaborate a little bit on that? What type of credit score will a first-time home buyer need to qualify to purchase?
So for first-time home buyers, I personally recommend a 640 or higher, but in most situations, you can go down as a 500 credit score. Oh, wow. If you go down to a 500, you're coming up with your own down payment as well as your closing costs. And that interest rate, my guy, so I definitely recommend the higher the credit score, the better. In terms of qualifying for various down payment assistance programs, we can go as low as a 620, but again, the higher your credit score, the more programs and products you qualify for.
Gotcha.
A lot of the one of the more popular programs, the Maryland Mortgage Program.
Yeah, I heard of Maryland Mortgage. Yeah.
Based off of their criteria, they allow a 640 or higher to qualify. If you have a 680 or higher, there's less restrictions. If you have a 720 or higher, there's a program called the Smart Buy 3.0 that you can qualify for, and it eliminates up to $50,000 in student
50,000?
50,000, bro. That's
Well,
one of my
we
favorite
have to run
programs.
it back, man. But Smart Buy 3.0, you can eliminate up to $50,000 in
$50,000
student
in
loans.
student loan debt.
Oh, wow.
You can be a first-time buyer, and you can qualify for down payment assistance with that student loan debt elimination.
Oh, wow. And what are the requirements with the Smart Buy 3.0? What would you need to qualify for that?
So you need to have a 720 or higher credit score.
All right.
You can have up to $50,000 in student loan debt. Anything above that, you would have to pay off at closing. So it's up to $50,000, and all your student loans have to be at a $0 balance.
Yeah, so
But
$50,000 no more. So if you
$50,000
have
no more.
$55,000 in student loan, that means you have to pay the additional $5,000
Correct.
before you close on a home.
Yeah, well, at closing, that additional $5,000, because we want the entire student loan to be paid at a $0. We're not just going to give them $50,000. Like, all right, well, you're going to incur interest on this $5,000, get it back up to yeah. So we want the entire student loan balance. Well, not we. The Maryland Mortgage Program wants the entire student loan balance to be paid off at closing.
Oh, wow.
Outside of the 720. Pretty much straight.
Nah, that's a good program, man. So I can see anybody that has student loans that can take advantage of that. They can purchase their first home, eliminate the student loan debt, and they can use a grant to help them with the down payment that's required to purchase that home.
And you don't even need to use the down payment assistance with it. So if you just want to purchase and eliminate your student loan debt, you can go ahead and do so. And their current interest rate is comparable with where we are in the current market.
Okay.
So if you do have a 720 or higher credit score and you're looking to purchase in Maryland specifically, I definitely, as well as have a little bit of student loan debt, I definitely recommend you speak to your realtor or your lender about the Smart Buy 3.0. So nothing in life is free, unfortunately. So with down payment assistance, 9 times out of 10, based off the fact you're getting assistance towards the overall down payment and closing, you're probably going to have a higher interest rate. So that's number one. Second thing is, let's say rates drop. Rates are going to drop. I'm not sure when, but eventually they are going to drop.
Eventually,
a lot of the down payment assistance programs, the assistance that they're providing you, is coming in the form of a second mortgage.
Okay.
So if you're going to refinance later down the line, you're going to have to pay that money back.
Okay. And when you say second mortgage, that means so if you're buying a house for $400,000 and you put, let's say, 3.5% down, right? So you're gonna have a first mortgage where you're paying down that loan, and you're also gonna have another mortgage based on the down payment that they're gonna give you as a second mortgage.
And with the Maryland Mortgage Program, they offer a 0% interest-free second mortgage.
Okay, so that second mortgage is not. You don't get charged interest on it.
Yeah, you don't. For the Maryland Mortgage Program, there are various programs that do have interest rates associated with the second mortgage. But that's why the Maryland Mortgage Program is one of the more popular products available.
I see.
So with that MMP, the down payment assistance is 0% interest free. The only time you have to pay it back is if you decide to sell or refinance your home.
Okay. Yeah, it's important for people to know that, because even when I work with buyers and I work with sellers as well, when they're ready to sell their home, they would think they're getting all this money back, right? And then when they have the title company look at the payoff sheet, then they will see that, hey, look, I have a first. And
I did get that down payment assistance.
Exactly.
I did get that
because they bought the house.
$25,000.
They bought the house 5, 10, 15 years ago. They might have forgot. You know what I mean? But if you said that, Maryland Mortgage allowed the second not to have an interest on it, and they're also paying it over time. That's good. I think that's
Perfect
a very
example.
good
So
program.
you can use the equity that you establish in your home, where if you do decide to refinance it later down the line, you can always use that equity to repay that second mortgage.
I see.
So you can repay the Maryland Mortgage Program, lower your interest rate, and then, hypothetically speaking, lower your monthly payment. So using down payment assistance always has its pros and cons, because if you are in an area like the DMV area where you can speak for it, home prices is going up. They're not coming down.
They're not coming down at all.
So it's important to purchase now and like be ahead of the wave, where homes are going to continue to appreciate. Use that to your advantage. You know that you're going to establish equity. You might as well, if you have the ability to use down payment assistance, use it. Use the equity to pay it back. And go about your business.
Yeah. I mean, you also made another good point about there, man. The home prices are only going up, right? In 2020, we had one of the lowest interest rates we ever seen. People really need to understand that was an historical rate. Rates have never been that low, for years, or never been that low ever, actually.
Ever.
2%, 2.5%, 3%. And then during COVID, rates went down. And then 2021, 2022 leading to the current market, now rates are more normal. What would you say today, June 19, 2023? What's the rate going for? I mean,
So it all depends on the type of loan that you're using, whether it's FHA, conventional, VA, so on and so forth, as well as your credit score that you have. But for, I would say, 720 or higher, 5% down on a conventional loan, as of today, you're probably looking at a high sixes, low sevens, compared to an FHA and VA financing. Since those are government loans, they normally have lower interest rates. So you can probably end up between mid sixes to high sixes, give or take, on an FHA loan.
Okay.
So there's always pros and cons. With FHA financing, the down payment requirement is 3.5%.
Right.
Versus
it's a very good program.
Yeah. Conventional financing for first time buyers, you can go down for 3%.
3%. Oh wow.
Yeah, as well as VA, it's 100% financing. Right. So anytime I see a VA, you can even use your VA with down payment assistance. So my VA buyers, thank you for your service. Definitely hit me up so we can get you into a home and get you situated.
That's one of the biggest myths in real estate, is that you need 20% not to purchase a home. I mean, he just went over the various different type of programs that you can use and loan types, right? You said FHA 3.5%, conventional you can go as low as 3%, VA 0% down.
Yeah,
you don't need 20% now to purchase a home.
There's so many different ways, bro. It's just like you don't know what you don't know. Right. You have to reach out for that knowledge to gain the information.
Right, and that's why we're here. If anybody has questions later on, even after this podcast, for sure they can hit you up. You can always answer questions and let them know the details. Is that what type of advice are you giving people that are coming to you to get a mortgage loan? I'm pretty sure they're telling you, hey, my uncle bought a house at $500,000 and their payment's $2,500 a month. How can I buy a house at $500,000 and I had to pay close to $4,000 a month? So how do you
be aggressive to make it happen? I'm like, what do you mean make it happen?
You can't do magic, right?
There's only but so much I can do.
Right.
We only have but so much assets available to put towards a transaction. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you want to put 15, 20, 25% down, you can very well do so and get your monthly mortgage to where you want. But it's going to require money. Right. Money doesn't grow on trees. If it does, please let me know.
I'll be grabbing some too.
But yeah, bro, it's just like right now what I'm telling my clients is just marry the house and date the rate.
Right. Same advice I'm giving them.
Interest rates are extremely high right now. But it's always advantageous to purchase. It's never a bad time to buy or invest in real estate.
100%.
So with that being said, just how we mentioned about the equity and being able to refinance later down the line, marry the house, date the rate. A marriage is hopefully a long-term. We're in this for the long haul.
Show them that ring, man. Even though the interest rates are high, if you do pull that plug and pull that trigger and just find a nice property that you can afford the mortgage payment with today's rate and hold on to it, you're going to benefit in the long run. And I'm giving the same advice to my client as well, a little bit different as a realtor, because I'm here to advise them and guide them about the process and whether if it's a perfect time for them to buy. There's never a perfect time for you to buy, but it's about when you're ready and when you're comfortable and when you're ready to pull the plug. Right. So yes, I'm telling them, hey, marry the house and date the rate. Date the rate.
Yeah.
Now I'm also telling them, look, with the rate being this high, a lot of sellers are motivated to sell their home, so you have more opportunities and more leverage as a buyer compared to.
We just had a closing.
Right.
The borrower got money back into the closing table. Literally, they got into a house and got money back at closing.
They had never been able to do that, back in 2020 or 2021, where the rates were low. Yes, the rates was low. The mortgage payment would have been a little bit cheaper, but with the competition, they would have to pay $50,000, $75,000 above asking price, waive inspection,
waive appraisal,
waive inspection, waive appraisal. Now we had to talk about appraisal, man. Waive appraisal, waive all of this stuff. Yes, they would be making a good deal. They would have gotten the house, but they wouldn't have gotten the opportunity to take advantage of doing an inspection, being able to negotiate if any repair was to come up, right? Get some money back to use towards their closing, or get some credit from the seller, So yes, the interest rates are high, but it's more. You can take you have more leverage as a buyer in this market. Now I have to tell you, man, as a real estate agent, most of my clients, when they go throughout the process, some of them be stressed out, and then they're stressed out because all these documents that you require for them, man. Yeah. They would like to feed. Delani asked me for this, then he asked me for this, then he asked me for that. So I have to ask you, if a first-time home buyer was to come to you, right, and it's a first-time purchasing a home, what type of documentation would you require for them to get them approved and pre-approved for them to go out shopping for
Good
a
question.
home?
So the most important documents, we get your driver's license just to verify you are who you say you are, or a form of identification.
Right.
If you're employed, we collect your pay stubs. Well, no, not if you're employed. We're hopefully going to get you employed in
Well,
your
you
purchasing
need
a
to-
home, or you could be on like Social Security or
Right.
disability
Right.
and receive that type of income. But we do request and collect your income documents. So if you're a W-2 employee, we'd be requesting your pay stubs in the past 30 days,
Okay.
as well as your W-2s in the past 2 years.
Okay.
We also collect your bank statements from the past 2 months, so we can pretty much do a review of the transactions.
Okay.
Make sure there's no income coming into your overall account that's not documented on the loan application.
Okay.
Because we always want to cross our T's and dot our I's.
right.
With me, I feel like clients get a little frustrated
Right.
with me because I'm so detail oriented at the beginning during
I
pre-qualification.
want you to be that detailed. I mean, I'm going to go over a reason why that's really important in a minute, but
Yeah, but it's like for me, if I can take care of this stuff on the front end, by the time you're out shopping and finally under contract, like you said, it's already a stressful process as is when you're out shopping and your offer is not getting accepted.
Right.
My job as a lender, I want to make your life outside of the home buying process in terms of the financing as easy as possible.
how long does it take for you to close on a home, right? I mean, like you said, we can close sooner, sometimes 21 days.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say on average 30 to 40 days. Don't you agree? Or would you say sooner than that?
So in this current market, just based off of the competition, we're cutting that time down.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So my fastest closing that I've had in this current market has been 17 days.
Oh, wow.
Normally it's around 25 to 30, just given the fact that if we're using a down payment assistance program, there's an additional underwriting process 9 times out of 10, as well as unforeseen circumstances like the appraiser being overwhelmed. That's something that we can't control. If the appraiser can't go out, or we can't find an appraiser to go out to actually inspect the home, then everybody's hands are tied. So for us, we just try to get as many documents collected on the front end, which allows us to have those 17-day closings, those 21-day contracts, 25 using down payment assistance, ideally 30. If you give me some, and then allow me to close early, because everybody loves an early closing day.
Who doesn't love an early closing day, man?
Yeah.
Closing day are the best days, I would say. The sellers are happy, the buyers are happy, they're getting the keys to their home. I know we're also satisfied because we're able to help another family get to the closing table.
Literally. Just seeing the pure emotion.
Man,
where it's just like, and I
that's
like to
what-
attend my closings whenever I can, because it's just like I don't get the face-to-face time like you do. I only get to talk over the phone or send an occasional email or text message.
Yeah,
It's
and the
like,
follow-ups.
I'm just like, I'm here too. Like, it's
Yeah,
a
it's a celebration,
Yeah.
man. That's why I go crazy on closing day. Like to get my client a gift, congratulate them on getting their home, because it's a huge accomplishment, guys. I mean, they're getting a loan of $300,000, $400,000. This is probably one of the biggest purchases of their life.
Literally.
Right? Besides buying a home, what else can you purchase at that price point? You know, you put a little money down, but you're controlling all this asset that you have to pay for the next 30
You
years
can
or
purchase
sooner.
some stuff for that much, but it's not going to like appreciate.
Right, it's not going to appreciate it.
I'm always curious to when my clients are out shopping with their realtor and they send like maybe 5 to 7 homes. It's like, I want to go see all of them.
Yeah.
All of them. And it's just like, from a realtor, how do you, of course, you got to service your clients
100%.
any way possible. It's just like, you do it once, you do it twice, you do it 3. Like, at what point is it just like, how does the communication work between you and your clients to be like, okay, this is what we're about to do, and this is like, because for me, from a lender, of course, I don't mind doing as many loan estimates as you request, but I can just like, all right, well, I'm in my home. I'm sitting at a computer doing this. My realtor partner is out driving.
We out Monday
like...
to Saturday, Sundays, man. If I tell you how many shows I do over the weekend, you won't believe it. Yeah. Especially when I tell you how much mileage I have in my car, you won't believe it. And you know, I work a lot with first-time home buyers. And I work a lot with home buyers in general. So, and that's a very good question, man. So that's why it's important for you to work with a very local real estate agent, right? And also an agent that can guide you and have your best interests forward. Because whenever a client send me 5 properties, what I do is I take my time and I analyze all those properties, right? Because during my consultation, I take my time to really understand exactly what they're looking for. So if you're telling me you're looking for a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom because you want to rent out the basement, you want to walk out basement and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's what's ideal for your family. And you send me a property that doesn't have a basement. I'm like, hey, we're not
You're
looking
not
at
just
this.
asking these
Right,
questions just for your house. It's like, nah,
right,
like
right.
you said that you wanted this during the
So we
consultation.
can't, right? I can't, drive 30, 45 minutes to go show your property just for you to tell me that you don't like it because it doesn't have a basement. Those are information that we could have reviewed before going out to the property, so we can kind of, avoid the time being wasted, right? And focus on other listing because these listings are going pretty quickly.
Yeah,
So if you're spending your time driving to another city while you should be focusing on this listing that's in your criteria, then you're missing out on an opportunity.
Tomorrow.
Exactly. So exactly that's what I do. I take my time. I analyze all the property. I think about exactly what the client for me that they're looking for within the home.
Yeah.
And then I properly advise them that this has 3 bedrooms, this has 2 bathrooms, or even if I've been in the area, I'll let you know, hey, look, this community, this is where you want to be at. I can see that this community is going to appreciate in the future.
Yeah.
Let's go look at this location over instead of this location.
Yeah.
Just kind of, not steering them or nothing like that, but just based on exactly the information that they told me, the commute from their job, stuff like that. Little things like that. And also, I'm not a lender, and I always like to give an estimate, and I'll refer to you for you to give the most accurate information.
Yeah.
But I also have a mortgage calculator that I can use to be able to let them know, hey, you want a mortgage payment of $3,000. If you plug in this number, this is the taxes, this is the HOA, condo fee, all of this stuff, you're looking at $4,000. So ideally, let's look at a property at a better price point, right? Or maybe this property might not be ideal because the taxes in that city are ridiculous, or pretty high. So I just like to do a little research, just a little consultation.
Don't go into it blindly.
Yeah, exactly. That saves me time. That also help them understand that, they have somebody that's looking out for their best interest, not just showing them anything. Can you explain the difference between a pre-qualification and a pre-approval?
Yeah. So pre-qualification, you're basically finding out that you're eligible to purchase a home based off of your credit, based off of your income. There's no necessary minimum for income required to purchase,
right?
Because we always determine your buying power based off of your debt to income ratio.
I see.
So your debt to income ratio is basically a comparison of all the information on your credit report,
right,
in terms of your monthly payments that you're making versus your hypothetical monthly mortgage payment. Plus those debts. So we use this is a whole algorithm, right? So
it's how much money you're making every month subtracted by how much debt you have, right?
Not even subtracting, you're dividing. So you're taking your gross monthly income,
right,
divided by your overall monthly obligations.
Gotcha.
So that's going to be your front end ratio.
All right.
Your back end ratio is your gross monthly income, divided by the proposed housing payment plus those debts reported on your credit report.
I see.
So you have a front end ratio and a back end ratio, and we basically determine how much of a home you're eligible for based off of that ratio.
So you have debt to income ratio. That's really important. That goes into that factor.
Yeah.
And then you also got credit, right?
Credit.
Okay.
Credit is king.
Right.
Credit is king. So as we mentioned at the very beginning of the pod, the higher your credit score, the more flexibility you have in the overall home buying process, whether that's qualifying for more down payment assistance programs or qualifying for a lower interest rate. Whenever you have a higher credit score, you're eligible for a lower interest rate because based off of a lender's perspective, it's like, okay, how can we determine if this person is going to pay us our money back?
Because, you're borrowing thousands of dollars from the bank, so you have to understand it from the bank's perspective, right? They want to make sure they're not just giving $300,000 just for anybody.
Got to see something.
They need to see something. They need to show that you're capable of paying that money back. So that's basically what you got.
So make on-time payments for your lines of credit. Avoid having high credit utilization. Just small little things that are going to keep your scores as high as possible. So by the time you are ready to purchase, you can have as many programs, as many options, I should say, available.
I see. All right, so we talked about the income, we talked about the credit. Let's talk about the money, man. So you do need money to buy a home. Yes, we talk about down payment assistance, ways to eliminate that so you can come out of pocket with less money as possible. So when you say you need 3.5% for the down payment, you need about 4% for the closing costs. Does the borrower need to have all that money saved in their bank account? Can they get the funds elsewhere? Can they get a gift? Can you explain that a little bit? Where can they get all this money together to be able to come up to pay off the home for the down payment?
And this is a great question because for gift funds specifically, if you're using an FHA loan and you're receiving gift funds, we're required to document the donor's gift letter as well as the donor's bank statements, as opposed to conventional financing, which normally has a higher credit score requirement or a larger down payment requirement. We don't need any type of donor bank statements.
I see.
So it's always more beneficial to have a higher credit score.
Okay.
But to answer your question, you can pull from your retirement. You can negotiate seller contribution.
Right.
We do want to have all of the assets accounted for
Right.
prior to closing. So once we submit the file to underwriting, we want to make sure that the file is fully accounted for in terms of the assets.
I see.
So whether it's a gift letter, whether it's a retirement withdrawal,
Right.
we will actually want to see the money in the account.
Okay.
So that's why we're requesting your bank statements during the pre-qualification, pre-approval process. So we know, okay, this is how much you actively have available.
Right.
These are your retirement accounts. This is a gift letter. This is how much seller contribution we're going to be asking for. So it's just like, we know, I'm not going to say exactly, but we're trying to be as accurate as possible. So you're prepared for purchasing a home.
Gotcha.
All of those third-party transactions, anything that is outside of your payroll,
Right.
you have to source those transactions if you're a W-2 employee.
Is it if it's like $5, $10, would it also question that? Or is there a minimum?
You're good. So the maximum also comes down to the type of loan financing you're using.
Okay.
So as long as you're not receiving, I'll just use FHA for example,
Right.
1% of the home's purchase price
Right.
in deposits outside of your payroll, you're good to go.
I see.
So let's say you're purchasing for $300,000. You can't have more than $3,000 being deposited into your account.
Right.
That's not sourced within your payroll,
I see.
because we want to be able to say, okay, well, Joe Smith works for Foot Locker,
Mm-hmm,
but has an additional $4,000
coming in.
it's like,
Where's this money coming from? That's when they start to question.
Yeah,
right?
he does sneaker restorations on the side. He has a side hustle. So it's just like we got to make sure that we document the loan application.
Imagine somebody comes up to you and asks you for even $100. When some people ask you, you question like, "When am I getting this money back? How do I know that you're gonna pay me?" Just imagine $300.
Who can I call to
Exactly. You're doing that for $100.
Yeah.
Imagine how the bank feel when it loan you X amount of money. So I'm pretty sure that's why the bank asks for all these documentation, which is understandable.
Yeah.
So I think as a home buyer, one thing you can do to prepare is just be organized, right? Be organized, have all your documentations ready. I always like when my clients are really organized. I'm pretty sure you do too, because you're the one asking for all those documents, right?
It's like a blessing.
Right. Just create all your files, be prepared, make sure you file your taxes on time, right? Create a file, keep all your taxes in there. Your bank statement, make sure you download an app. All these banks nowadays have mobile apps where you can quickly access, get your bank statement. Your employer should have software to like ADT and all the other software where you can go in, get your pay stub, or if you do it the old-fashioned way, whenever you get a pay stub mailed to you, just keep it organized.
File it. And then just be done with it.
Exactly.
Just be on top of if you know that you're getting ready to purchase, just help us help you.
For sure.
What are you seeing from a realtor's perspective in the current market right now? Like, what are some of your clients competing with?
With the way the market is going right now, we are in the spring market, leaning to the summer's market. There's more listing, but there's also more aggressive buyers out there, right? So multiple offers. So, houses are coming on the market on Thursdays. By Monday, offer deadline. Multiple people submit an offer. So they are competing with other buyers, right? So that way they had to make the offer competitive. And then I always advise them it's not just the price, it's about your offer term and also your lender, right? So, if the client can go conventional or, they can put, people love conventional. You have to answer that question, which one's the best one, FHA or conventional? But just to answer the question, people are competing with multiple offers. So we have to go out there, submit the best offer forward, sometime above asking price, or sometimes it's just submitting the best term, right? If it's possible not to do a home inspection or just to do an inspection for information purpose only and get a home warranty to protect yourself, or whether if it's to, offer to pay a gap between the appraisal if we intend on the appraisal on the property not appraising at the value. So it's just competing with other buyers and just submitting a competitive offer. Sure. Just to summarize this, a little shameless plug. We do have a first-time home buyer seminar coming up this Saturday, June 24th from 12 to 2 p.m. in Bowie, Maryland. This first-time home buyer seminar is our first one that we're hosting together, but I'm very much excited about this.
First of many.
First of many. Let me put it that way. First of many. We have plenty of more coming because we focus on just educating our clients so they can be prepared before getting started with the process. So, you want to go over some of the stuff that we're going to talk about?
So we're going to definitely discuss down payment assistance programs, the various type of loan products available in terms of FHA, conventional, the pros and cons of waiting versus purchasing now. Just different key nuggets to pretty much get our clients prepared for the overall home buying process. Know we're gonna have it like a Q&A section also, where it's
which is
just like we're
important.
going
Yeah.
to allow whoever attends to just ask whatever questions they may have
Right.
outside of actually providing information. So definitely come out. It's going to be a great event. Again, June 24th, this Saturday, 12 to 2 p.m.
All right. Well, hopefully we can see you there. Well, thank you for joining us today.
Yes, yes.